Benson Street near the U.S. Embassy in Central Monrovia. Welcome to Prime News 145 minutes presentation of major development about issues and events, claims, counterclaims, in-depth report and analysis about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of our global village. I'm out to be on top of this midweek presentation. Today is Wednesday, April 17, 2024. Top stories we're following this morning. Government through the Ministry of Transport launches 21 days vehicles inspection exercise beginning this Wednesday as Transport Minister Salif Tala announces the collection and deposit of US $2.4 million as revenue from January to March 2024.
Tomorrow, the Ministry of Transport will begin its full 21-day exercise of inspection. So, in 21 days, tomorrow for 21 days, we'll be inspecting throughout the 15 subdivisions in the country. From January 2nd up to the end of last month, year to date, the Ministry of Transport has raised over $2.4 million.
Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency's Director Colonel Ibrahim Kroman and his deputy for Operation Hassan Fadiga go at loggerhead. Information Minister Vehzelee Beare discloses that President Beare has promised to resolve the conflict.
The President expects that officials of government will work together because the mission is to deliver to the people. We cannot and will not deliver effectively to the people when we have reports of infighting and some of the things we are reading in different media outlets about the LGEA.
Also coming up this morning.
Further, in paper we have 7. We have 0 class A, 1 class B, and 3 class C, and another 3 were unknown. So today we've come to let you know that we will soon be launching our fire prevention awareness.
Liberia National Fire and Rescue Service releases statistics on fire disasters from January to April. Fire Service Director Conan Wasua Bafor reveals 11 persons were killed with 51 occupants made homeless during the period. Away from Liberia, Kenya's Association of Muslims Lawyers says a politician who appeared to force a woman to shake his hand should be investigated for harassment. Leaders from the West African Regional Bloc, ECOWAS, have clamped down on their initial announcement that they were visiting Togo due to the seriousness of the controversial constitutional reforms that the government planned to introduce. These developments, including the news bulletin, the agile voices of the newsmakers, are packaged on this morning presentation. But first, Vehzelee Small set a paste of the bulletin of news. Good morning, Vehzelee.
Good morning, Arthur, and good morning, Liberia. The Liberia's Minister of Transport, Salif Tala, has revealed the collection and deposit of $2.4 million United States dollars for government as revenues collected from January to March 2024. According to Minister Tyler, the amount collected constitutes 34% growth as compared to January 2023 to March 2023. Minister Salif Tyler told a MICAT press briefing Tuesday that 32% of the revenue was generated from the issuance of stickers, while 36% was generated from vehicle registration. Mr. Tyler also pledged his administration's support to ensuring that President Joseph Boakar's arrest agenda is achieved by efforts to collect the needed revenue for development. Meanwhile, Minister Salif Tala has disclosed plans to commence a nationwide vehicles inspection beginning this Wednesday, April 17, 2024. The 21 days inspection, according to Minister Tyler, is intended to ensure that vehicle owners are in compliance, noting that all vehicles, tricycles, and motorcycles owners cooperate with the inspection team that will be deployed across the country. Information Minister Vehzelee Beare has revealed that President Joseph Boakai has promised to resolve the internal conflict between officials of the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency. Recently, media reports indicated that there exists an internal wrangling between the LDEA Director General Colonel Ibrahim Kroma and his Deputy for Operations, Hassan Fadiga. Some Liberians have asserted that addressing the reported internal conflict between Colonel Kroma and his deputy at the LDEA is vital to maintaining the integrity and effectiveness of the Drugs Enforcement Agency in its fight against drugs-related crimes in Liberia. Speaking at MICAT regular press briefing Tuesday, Minister Beare said President Boakai hopes that all officials of government work in harmony for the growth and development of the country. He added that the Boakai Kong administration came on the agenda of rescuing the country, and as such a mission will not be accomplished if officials of government do not work in unity and harmony. Meanwhile, Information Minister Jeremy Pia has assured citizens of the government's commitment to prosecute individuals or business individuals involved in selling donated drugs to the public. USAID Mission Director Jim Wright recently reported that about 90% of drugs donated to Liberia are being sold to pharmaceutical institutions in the country. Pia, however, thanked the USAID for the information while promising that the government will do the needful. The Liberia National Fire and Rescue Service has released statistics on fire disasters resulting to the loss of lives and properties damaged covering January to April 2024. Making a disclosure at MICAT regular press briefing Tuesday, the National Fire Service Director Wasua Bavo says there were 59 fire outbreaks which led to the deaths of 11 people, with 51 occupants made homeless. Colonel Bavo attributed the increasing wave of fire disasters across the country to ignorance and mistakes, while revealing that the use of candles and mosquito coils, as well as poor electricity system, are attributing factors. He wants central government to provide huge budgetary allotments to the Liberia National Fire and Rescue Service to augment its works across the country. Konawasu Abavo disclosed that the Liberia National Fire Service is expected to embark on safety measures initiatives, including awareness campaign aimed at educating citizens on preventive measures. Meanwhile, the Fire Service Director has stressed the need to use fire alarm and fire extinguishers as recommended by fire experts as first aid measures in curtailing fire outbreaks at various homes and facilities. A CSO group, the Solidarity and Trust for a New Day Stand, has launched an urgent appeal to strategic development partners for assistance in combating the escalating fire outbreaks devastating homes, communities, and institutions. The civil society organization dispatched letters to the U.S. Embassy, the British Embassy, and the delegation of the European Union, stressing the critical need for assistance to strengthen the capabilities of the Liberia National Fire and Rescue Service. Stan also emphasized that the frequency of fire incidents in Liberia has reached alarming levels, resulting in tragic loss of lives and extensive property damage. Stan urges the government to declare the fight against outbreaks a national emergency, emphasizing that these fire strategies do not only claim lives but also exacerbate socio-economic challenges. The organization at the same time warned that unless met with a practical, solution-based approach, the fire situation poses a growing threat to Liberia's national security and democratic stability. The Liberia National Police has arrested one person in connection to the gruesome murder of 36-year-old Amanda Nimbo, an officer of the Monrovia City Police. On April 13, 2024, Officer Amanda Nimbo was allegedly stabbed to death at the Bannersville Junction by some individuals believed to be robbers while on her way home. Addressing me at regular press briefing Tuesday, Police Inspector General Gregory Coleman said the suspect has given the LNP additional names of those that were involved in the murder of Amanda Nimbo. Colonel Coleman noted that the LNP has launched a rigorous manhunt to ensure that other perpetrators are brought to face the full weight of the law. He expressed serious concern over the alarming crime rate along the Japan Freeway, adding that they are reviewing measures to ensure that the situation is curtailed. He added that the operations department is looking at some measures to include curfew for motorcyclists, something he said they are mostly being targeted. The Civil Society Network of Liberia has expressed utter disappointment in the Gregory Coleman-led Liberian National Police for its failure to release findings from the recent violent protests that vandalized the facilities of Beare Mountain Mining Corporation in Kinjaw, Grand Cape Mount County. According to the network, it has been over a month since the aggrieved citizens disrupted the peace that resulted to the deaths of a few persons and the destruction of the company's facilities. The civil society network also condemned in the strongest terms such violent protests, alleged massive looting and destruction of the company's facilities, while calling on the Liberian National Police to arrest and prosecute. Appalled and disgusted that few citizens of Grand Cape Mount County will be demanding the removal of Deba Allen as general manager of Beare Mountain. The CSNL frowns on a handful of citizens allegedly backed by District 2 Representative Mohammed Dossi and some prominent citizens of the county to incite protests and hold Mr. Deba Allen responsible for such alleged negligence, while calling on them to desist. Meanwhile, the Civil Society Network of Liberia is calling on the Ministry of Labor to immediately launch an investigation into alleged unfair labor practices in order to restore peace and harmony among the workforce of the company. The government of Liberia, through the Department of Budget and the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, has kicked off the national budget awareness activities in Montserrat County as part of its responsibility to promote public access to budget information. The 2024 draft National Budget Awareness is intended to give the public access to budget information and opportunities to participate in the budget process at the county level. At the official launch of the awareness event at the Stephen Talbot Estate in Gardnersville, Acting Director for Budget Development and Coordination at the Ministry of Finance, Julius Borkai, said the draft National Budget Awareness is one of government's key priorities that is required by law to disseminate relevant information when the budget is submitted to the national legislature. Parker said the government budget is a plan that identifies where the money will come from and also states how the government will spend the money on those activities that are defined, as well as who will be spending that money. The outreach activities at Stephen Talbot Estate Football Field, held on Monday, April 15, was attended by student groups, representatives of schools administrations and teaching staffs, community leaders, and personnel from the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning. The awareness activities will continue in parts of Montserrat County and will solicit the inputs and feedbacks from citizens from different strata of the society. The Deputy Director General of the National Fisheries and Aquaculture Authority has termed the development of a shrimp management plan as an important pillar in Liberia's fisheries management strategy with support from the World Bank under the Liberia Sustainable Management of Fisheries project. Augustine Manubala disclosed that a shrimp management plan is being developed at a time when Liberian fisheries management is experiencing what he termed as a decline in revenue generation. Manubala, however, noted that shrimp, which is one of Liberia's high-value species, developing a management plan at this time would allow exploitation, will generate revenue potential for the country. The Liberia Fisheries Deputy Director General for Administration made a statement at the start of a one-day workshop on validation of a draft shrimp fishery management plan for the Liberia multi-species deepwater shrimp fishery held at NAFA corporate headquarters near the Freeport of Monrovia. He recalled that a year ago, the Liberia Fisheries Authority conducted experimental fishing on the country's shrimp resources with preliminary data collected. As such, it was decided that some exploration be conducted. The National Fisheries and Aquaculture Authority one-day validation workshop on its draft shrimp fisheries management plan brought together representatives from the World Bank, European Union, United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, the National Port Authority, the University of Liberia Fisheries Science College, the Ministries of Agriculture and National Defense, the Environmental Protection Agency, and cold storage operators, among others. The plenary of the House of Representatives has requested its committees on gender, labor, and judiciary to review a bill to prohibit child labor. Plenary reached a decision Tuesday, April 16, during its fifth extraordinary sitting, following a communication from Sino County District 1 Representative Thomas Romeo Quia. Representative Quia alleged that child labor issues are alarming, as most of the children have turned to breadwinners for their individual families on a daily basis. The Sino County lawmaker wants plenary's intervention in order to address the menace. Meanwhile, the Joint Committee is expected to report within a period of 2 weeks. The House of Representatives has mandated its committees on judiciary, security, and good governance to investigate the unauthorized leakage of former President George Weah and other former officials of the CDC government asset declaration documents. They said the investigation concerns the breach of confidentiality surrounding public officials. The committees are to work with the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, which has already launched an internal investigation into the matter. Plenary took the decision during its Tuesday session after a lengthy debate when current and former heads of the LACC appeared before the body, triggered by communication from Osarado County District 9 Representative Frank Foko. During her presentation, when she took the witness stand, LACC Executive Chairperson Alexandra Zoe confirmed that findings of a recently launched investigation has established that the documents were requested by the then LACC Chairperson James Verdier. She further disclosed that the LACC, after an inquiry from the asset declaration team at the entity, was informed that the former chairperson requested for the asset declaration documents of 5 former officers of the government, including former President George Weah, former Vice President Jua Howard Taylor, former Finance and Development Planning Minister Samuel Twe, former Presidential Affairs Minister Nathaniel Mageo, and former Moreira City Mayor Jefferson Koji. The clarification by the current LACC boss has now cleared Councillor Edwin Clow Martin, who previously headed the LACC, of all accusations levied against him for leaking the documents. Recently, former LACC boss, Councillor Edwin Martin, was heavily criticized and accused for leaking former President Weah's senior officers of his government documents to the public. The committees are to work a report in 2 weeks. The plenary of the Liberian Senate has constituted a 6-man ad hoc committee to launch an investigation into the operations of MedTech Scientific Liberia Limited. Those named on the committee include Senators Amara Kone, Daba Vapila, Darius Dillon, Edwin Snow, Augustine Shea, and Prince Mori. The decision of the Senate was prompted by separate communications written by Grand Crew and Bapolu County Senators Albert Shea and Amara Kone. According to Senator Shea, MedTech Scientific Limited, that replaced BVAC at the Freeport of Monrovia operations in the country, was not ratified by the legislature. He disclosed that scores of senators have been implicated in the operations of MedTech Scientific Limited. For his part, Bapolu County Senator Amara Kone mentioned that MedTech Scientific Limited is defrauding the government of its needed revenue. Riverview County Senator Jonathan Sogbe has written the plenary of the Liberian Senate seeking budgetary allocation for youth organizations and other groupings in the fight against drugs and substance abuse. According to Sogbe, there are several organizations in the country that are contributing to the fight against drugs and substance abuse, but funding remains a major challenge. He noted that the subsidies to the targeted organizations will greatly aid the national government in the fight against the intake of illegal substances among young people. The Riverview County Senator maintained that the fight against drugs is in line with the government's arrest agenda. Senator Sogbe's communication was received by the plenary of the Liberian Senate and sent to the Senate Committee on Ways, Means, and Financial report in 2 weeks. The acting chairman of the Coalition for Democratic Change has reportedly filed a formal complaint against the Unity Party-led government to the House of Representatives in the Liberian Senate on what he described as plans to disrupt the peace in the country. Janga Cole said government's attempt to recall several Liberians serving in foreign service, the removal of appointees serving in tenure positions, and plans by the Civil Service Agency to drop over 40,000 employees as reasons. Chairman Cole made a disclosure when he spoke at programs marking the dissolution of the collaborating political parties in Monrovia recently. According to him, the Unity Party should not do things that will disrupt the peace in the country because the opposition community will not sit and allow the Unity Party to violate the rights of the Liberian people. The former Director of Compliance at the Liberian National Fire and Rescue Service is proposing a national conference comprising stakeholders to find concrete solutions to address the increase in fire incidents across the country. Augustus Momo described the proposed conference as necessary on grounds that fire disaster occurrences is a security risk. Addressing a news conference, Momo pointed out that the conference should bring together representatives of line ministries and agencies. Momo is encouraging the leadership at the Liberian National Fire and Rescue Service to give serious consideration to his proposal. And in foreign news, Kenya's Association of Muslim Lawyers says a politician who appeared to force a woman to shake his hand should be investigated for harassment. A widely circulated video of an office birthday party shows Ken Gondi, the Speaker of Nairobi's County Assembly, apparently insisting that a female Muslim colleague shake his hand. He is also seen putting his hand on her shoulder while she stands up. Mr. Ngondi has not commented on the video. News outlets and social media commenters point out that devoutly Muslim women do not shake hands with male acquaintances. Many say the woman in the video looks uncomfortable, and Muslim lawyers have said it amounts to sexual and physical assault. And leaders from the West African regional bloc ECOWAS have clamped down on their initial announcement that they were visiting Togo due to the seriousness of the controversial constitutional reforms that the government planned to introduce. Those words were part of a press release that was published on X on Monday and then deleted on Tuesday. It was replaced by a new press release that instead called it a simple information mission and insisted that ECOWAS delegates would not engage in any other process as indicated in previous press releases which had been withdrawn. The opposition in Togo has denounced a proposed new constitution as a power grab intended to extend the rule of President for Yasembe.
Vehzelee Sumo and the News Bulletin. The News Bulletin is a regular feature on Prime News Run. If you just joined, a reminder, you listen to a production of the News and Current Affairs Department of Prime Communications Network Incorporated. I'm out to be on top of this midweek presentation. Straight into our main stories. Liberia's Transport Minister Salif Tyler has revealed a collection and deposit of $2.4 million United States dollars for government as revenue collected from January to March 2024. Minister Tyler was speaking at Mika press briefing on Tuesday.
So from January 2nd up to the end of last month, year to date, the Ministry of Transport has raised over $2.4 million to the national coffers. That's just the first quarter, which constituted a 34% growth. Okay, when I mean 34% growth, I mean growth we're comparing from January, February to March, month on month. And the main driver of that growth, we've had a 132% growth in insurance stickers. For the registration process, we've had about 36% growth in the revenue of the registration of motorbikes and motorcycles. So analysis of the first quarter of 2023 versus the first quarter of 2024 shows that we've had a 15% increase in revenue. So we've improved over the time being. And as you can see, most of the drivers, besides the motorcycles, the insurance policies that His Excellency Joseph Monyuma Bwaga instructed us to put forth. And we have done that successfully. And now you see at the Ministry of Transport, before anything goes through our system, they must be insured. Because insurance mitigates risks, and risks is about safety, and safety, as the IG says, is the first priority of our president.
Meanwhile, Minister Salif Tyler has disclosed plans to commence a nationwide vehicles inspection beginning today, Wednesday, April 17. The 21 days inspection, according to Minister Tyler, is intended to ensure that vehicles owners are in compliance, noting that all vehicles, tricycles, and motorcycles owners cooperate with the inspection team that will be deployed across the country.
Tomorrow, the Ministry of Transport will begin its full 21-day exercise of inspection. When I conclude my little talk, I will have the Director of Inspectorate to say a few words on that. So in 21 days, tomorrow for 21 days, we'll be inspecting throughout the 15 subdivisions in the country, and that inspection includes inspections at all concession sites, inspections throughout Monrovia for vehicles, motorbikes, tricycles, and the rest. And one of the inspections we'll be doing, we're seeing that there is ubiquity and inundation in government plates all over the place, and we're trying to stop that. For a vehicle to have a government assigned plates, you will see that it must have the GSA emblem. For many vehicles, we see those plates there will be taken off those vehicles that are not marked with GSA signs.
Liberia Transport Minister Salif Tyler. Information Minister Vehzelee Beare has revealed that President Joseph Boakai has promised to resolve the internal conflict between officials of the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency. Some Liberians have asserted that addressing the reported internal conflict between Colonel Ibrahim Nkrumah and his deputy Hassan Fadika at the LDA is vital to maintaining the integrity and effectiveness of the LDA in its fight against drug-related crimes in Liberia. Minister Beare spoke at Mika regular press briefing on Tuesday.
The president's attention is being drawn to continuous media reports as to what is happening at the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency. It is the thinking of the president that government ministries and agencies should be in harmony. The president expects that officials of government will work together because the mission is to deliver to the people. We cannot and will not deliver effectively to the people when we have reports of infighting and some of the things we are reading in different media outlets about the LDEA. That has caught the attention of the president. He will take seize of the matter, and whatever the situation is at the Beare Drugs Enforcement Agency will be resolved very soon because we don't have time for infight. We have time to work because we said to the people of Liberia that our country was in need of a rescue, and we said we came to rescue. We must uphold that commitment to the people. So anything that will serve as a distraction will not be countenanced, and it is our hope now that the president is concerned about what is happening and he's taking seize of the matter that we'll see some real harmony across government, particularly the FDA, where we continue to get reports.
Meanwhile, Information Minister Vehzelee Beare has assured citizens of the government's commitment to prosecute individuals or businesses involved in selling donated drugs to the public. UC Mission Director Jim Wright recently reported that about 90% of drugs donated to Liberia are being sold to pharmaceutical institutions in the country. Mr. Beare.
We followed the mission director of USAID, Jim Wright, who expressed serious concern about how medications that are meant to be in our medical institutions are ending up in pharmacies because they're being sold. The government takes those comments very seriously. Seriously in the sense that it's a good thing that USAID got some information. They've brought this to the public glare, and we want to assure them that as a government, it is concerning if medications that are being donated to benefit our people are being sold and ending up in pharmacies as being reported, and we will do what is supposed to happen to curtail that. They also said it will be a good thing if we start to persecute people, and we will not fall short of that. If we find the evidences of those involved in such ugly acts, we just want to warn you that we're coming after you. If your goal is not to serve the public interest, but you want to use the public space for self-enrichment, you have miscalculated, and be aware that you could be held accountable very soon. And we thank the USAID head of mission for raising the red flag on this very critical issue. We want our health institutions to work again. All of you here who've gone to different medical institutions, you're aware that sometimes you don't have the resources. You go to hospital, you expect to be treated, and all you get, so in most cases, slips to go to medical places to go buy medicine when you should be treated in the hospital. So if these are part of the reasons why these things are happening and they've been brought to the attention of the government, we will act, and we will act very, very decisively.
Liberia's Information Minister Vehzelee Beare. The Liberia National Fire and Rescue Service has released statistics on fire disasters resulting to the loss of lives and properties damage, covering January to April 7, 2024, making the disclosure at Mika regular press briefing Tuesday. Liberia National Fire and Rescue Service Director Wasua Bafo says there were 59 fire outbreaks, which led to the death of 11 people, with 51 occupants made homeless.
Right now, the major challenge that we have is electrical fire. It may interest you to know that from January to February, we have 41 fire. 12 was class A, that is what we call combustible or common fire. 3, class B, what is referred to as flammable fire. And C, electrical fire 26. There was 11 deaths and 2 injuries. March, we had 11 fire outbreaks, 4 class A, 1 class B, and 6 electrical. There was 51 occupants affected. In April, we have 7. We have 0 class A, 1 class B, and 3 class C. and another three well unknown. So today we've come to let you know that we will soon be launching our fire prevention awareness. That will entail jingles. We're going to prepare jingles. We also want to do it in the vernacular so our people get to know that.
Meanwhile, Wasua Bafo has stressed the need to use fire alarm and fire extinguisher as recommended by fire experts as first aid measure in curtailing fire outbreaks at various homes and company, among others. The solidarity, sorry, the Liberia National Police has arrested one person in connection to the gruesome murder of 36-year-old Amanda Nipo, an officer of the Monrovia City Police. Addressing Mika regular press briefing Tuesday, Police Inspector General Gregory Coleman said the suspect has given the LMP additional names of those that were involved in the murder of Amanda.
I would like to speak to one or two issues that are out there. One has to do with the gruesome murder of Miss Amanda Nebo, which then occurred on April 14th at about 12 midnight. That's a sad event that we don't wish for anyone. As part of our crime initiatives, I mean, this is something that is very disheartening. We consider it one of those issues that have to be aggressively pursued and is being aggressively pursued as we speak. Today, we have arrested one of the key suspects in the murder who has admitted his involvement, and he has given us names of additional suspects who were involved, and the police are after them right now as we are ongoing with this exchange here. So hopefully within a day or two, we should have the rest of them in custody. But beyond that, we're really concerned about the occurrences of crime in that area. So we are reviewing measures to put in place to try to curtail the situation and to keep people safe. These measures are being reviewed by the operations department right now. They are looking at what is the most feasible, apart from just the plan structure and the deployment of additional resources to that area. We're looking at measures that could also include some form of curfew for riders, because the target in that area is mainly motorcycles. 2 days ago, someone came to my office and informed us of what they had witnessed driving on the road. She was driving along the Somalia Drive around 11:30, and she saw these two motorcyclists with cutlasses going after another one who was running for his life. So they had to go after them with the vehicle and try to run them off the road, and that's how they were able to save that person. So the crime focus in that area is more motorcycle based. So we're looking at all of the measures to put in place to keep riders and the passengers safe.
Colonel Gregory Coleman is Liberia National Police Inspector General. He spoke during the Ministry of Information regular press briefing on Tuesday. The House of Representatives has mandated its committees on judiciary, security, and good governance to investigate the unauthorized leakage of former President George Weah and other former officials of the CDC government assets declaration documents. The said investigation concerns the breach of confidentiality surrounding public officials. Plenary took the decision during its Tuesday session after a lengthy debate when current and former head of the LACC appeared before the body, triggered by a communication from Maserati County District 9 Representative Frank Safoko. During her presentation when she took the witness stand, LACC Executive Chairperson Alexandra Zoe confirmed the findings of a recently launched investigation has established the documents were requested by the then LACC Chairperson, Councillor James Verdier. So we can get Councillor Alexandra Zoe. We'll bring you the asset in our subsequent newscast. The Deputy Director General of the National Fisheries and Aquaculture Authority has termed the development of a shrimp management plan as an important pillar in Liberia's fisheries management strategy with support from the World Bank on the Liberia Sustainable Management of Fisheries project. Augustine Monabala has been speaking on the issue.
This is a very important pillar of our fisheries management strategy, ensuring that we have in place appropriate plan for our fisheries program. As a responsible institution, as a responsible country and government, we don't just go about opening our fisheries without following the scientific process. And so, with support from the World Bank, we have a consultant that have been working along with our team to be able to look at the possibility of exploiting our stream resources. A year ago, we did some experimental fishing on our stream resources, and we thought it was important, based on preliminary data we got, that we make some exploration in this direction. And so the bank supported our endeavor to ensure that we can have a consultant that will help us develop a management plan based on the data that we gather, so that we can be able to responsibly exploit our resources. I must admit that this is coming at a time that is actually needed, because as an institution we have experienced and continue to experience decline in our revenue. The shrimp being one of our high-value species, developing a management plan that will allow us to start to exploit them will provide revenue potential for our country. And so we see this as very important. And that is the reason why we want to congratulate all of you who have made it your duty to be here to support us in the process. We don't want this to be just a NAFA process, because what we do impact a lot of other agencies.
NAFA Deputy Director General Deputy Director General there, Augustine Monabala, determined the development of a shrimp management plan has an important pillar in Liberia's fisheries management strategy with support from the World Bank under the Liberia Sustainable Management of Fisheries Project. The Vehzelee County Senator Jonathan Borcha Sumo has written the plenary of the Liberian Senate seeking budgetary allocation for youth organizations and other groupings in the fight against drugs and substance abuse. According to Senator Sumo, there are several organizations in the country that are contributing to the fight against drugs and substance abuse, but funding remains a major challenge.
Permeating the corridors of our society. This communication could not have come at a better time than when we are appropriating through budgetary allocation. There are few institutions that are not in a government functionary, but are catering to our young people, indigents, and trouble or at-risk youth, to try in our weak ways to put something aside as a subsidy to help them do what they are doing will not only go a long way, but it will also show that we care and that we can do something for our people. Let me tell you something. There's a place right opposite the 101 gas station on the Dupa Road. I was just there a fortnight ago. There is this lady, Protem and colleagues, who has her own place, and she's catering to these young people, I mean real young people, able-bodied men, trying to bring them back and take them from the streets. I went over there and almost shed tears on a serious note. And I'm saying people like these who are voluntary and making this thing a personal challenge to themselves, we can do something by helping them a little bit. And it is in this light that I'm appealing to us to make something available, however small, however infinitesimal, will go a long way for us. And so I thought to bring it to the plenary attention. Thank you.
Vehzelee County Senator Jonathan Borcha Sumo. The plenary of the Liberian Senate has constituted a 6-man ad hoc committee to launch an investigation into the operation of Medtech Scientific Liberia Limited. Those names on the committee include Senators Amar Conan, Daba Vapla, Darius Dillon, Edwin Snow, Augustine Chie, and Prince Moyi of Bon County. The decision of the Senate was prompted by separate communication written by Grenku and Bapulu County's Senators Albert Chie and Amar Kone. According to Senator Chie, Medtech Scientific Limited, that replaced Beare at the free port of Monrovia operation in the country, was not ratified by the legislature.
I'm coming from the angle that I can say there have been rumors that a contract was executed between the government and Mentec to replace Beare, but that agreement was not brought to the legislature. So personally, I don't have any much information. But what drew my attention was what is appearing in the media space, that people are carrying out different lies, different rumors concerning that contract and participation of government actors and non-government actors. So I'm happy that my colleagues are writing a detailed letter on that matter, and I think they will have the opportunity to go into depth. But this issue, we are calling for full investigation to put the issue to rest, because when there's no clarity, there's always chance for rumors. So when we get the result of the investigation, I'm sure all the rumors will be put to rest.
For his part, Bapulu County Senator Amar Conan mentioned that Medtech Scientific Limited is defrauding the government of its needed revenue.
Medtech Scientific Liberia, the government of Liberia entered into service contract to provide destination inspection for imports into Liberia. That contract calls for a 20% share for the government through the LRA. It's not domiciled in Liberia. It's now going into the consolidated account, and we need to bring it home. Just so the Senate know, when this issue came to our attention again through the media, the Commerce Committee and the PAC met to discuss it. We communicated with METEC to provide information. They responded, suggesting that there was a court case on potential money laundering regarding the same contract before the Supreme Court, and refused to provide documents. The other issue here is the contract execution. METEC Scientific introduced a new company from METEC Scientific Dubai that is now executing a contract different from the original company that the government signed with. So there's all kinds of, we don't have the ability to establish the actual views, but the signs are there. That is why we are recommending that the General Auditing Commission conduct a full-scale audit on the 20%, since METEC is actually executing that amount on behalf of the LRA, and to understand why the money is not domiciled in Liberia.
Bapulu County Senator Amara Connor Ella on the heard Foreman Pro Tem and Grenku County Senator Abachi. The acting chairman of the Coalition for Democratic Change has reportedly filed a formal complaint against the Unity Party-led government for the House of Representatives and the Liberian Senate on what it described as plans to disrupt the peace in the country. Jangako has been speaking to reporters.
I want to remind the victors that be magnanimous in victory. Do not be disruptive of the peace of the country, because this country has found fire and we have protected the peace and democracy. You know how the sitting government was treated even by this very seat. We also call on the government to actually not be disruptive of this own governing process. A few weeks ago, we did issue communicated to the Speaker and the Senate, actually outlining the excesses of the UP government a few months into office. We think the conduct of the government is very disruptive of the peace of the country, targeting former government officials, the targeting and the illegal removal of people who are protected by tenure in the various positions in government, targeting of people in the civil service, targeting of people in the foreign service. These activities of the government are illegal and they are disruptive to peace. If you see the victory of the Unity Party, which in the margin of error should point to the Unity Party that although it has the legitimacy to govern, does not necessarily have the popular mandate of the Liberian people. So it should be very careful the way it proceeds so as to protect the peace of the country. And we also would like to use this opportunity to point out the series they did Death Inc. King Jaw. 6 years of the CDC government did not witness a single death of demonstrators. That was deliberate decision of the government. So we also call on the UP government to respect the human rights of Liberians.
Jangako is the acting chairman of the former ruling Coalition for Democratic Change. The disclosing that it has filed a formal complaint against the Unity Party-led government for the House of Representatives and the Liberian Senate for what it described as plans to disrupt the peace of Liberia. Jangaku said government of Liberia the removal of appointees serving in disrupt over 40,000 the company. Found solution to address the increase in fire is across the country. Augusta Moore described the proposed conference as necessary on grounds that fire disaster occurrences a security risk.
We want to suggest, in fact, there's a letter on the way to the Speaker of the House as well as the Fire Chief, Honorable Bafo. We want to suggest a 1 to 3 day dialogue. Fire outbreak has become a national security issue. It has been the attention of the entire country, even our neighbors. Fire outbreak has also become a national emergency, kind of health emergency, and economic emergency, matter of fact. So we have a 1 to 3 day sector dialogue, stakeholder dialogue. We come together and discuss and put down fundamental things that will transform the sector, that will cultivate a whole new fire safety regime or culture. You have we're going to see what have part to play, the LEC, the all part of stakeholder, the National Security Agency, the police, the fire department itself, our international community. Every other sector has a role to play. Another disaster relief is that we will come together and have a meeting. Look at what the situation was, what it is right now. What can we transform the sector?
Augusta Momo, former Director of Compliance at the Liberia National Fire and Rescue Service. Well, on that note, this is how we draw down the curtains on this morning presentation. Before we take leave of you, once again, big stories you close to follow. The government, through the Ministry of Transport, launches 21 days vehicles inspection exercise beginning today, Wednesday, as Transport Minister Vehzelee announces the collection and deposit of US $2.4 million as revenue from January to March 2024. Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency's Director, Con Ibrahim Kroman, and his Deputy for Operations, Hassan Fadika, go at lockerheads. Information Minister Vehzelee Beare discloses that President Beare has promised to resolve the conflict. Liberia National Fire and Rescue Service releases statistics on fire disasters from January to April. Fire Service Director, Colonel Bafo, reveals 11 persons were killed, with 51 occupants made homeless during the period. Away from Liberia, Kenya's Association of Muslim Lawyers says a politician who appeared to force a woman to shake his hand should be investigated for harassment. Leaders from the West African Regional Bloc, ECOWAS, have clamped down on their initial announcement that they were visiting Togo due to the seriousness of the controversial constitutional reforms that the government planned to introduce. On a note, many thanks to you for your valuable listening and viewing room, and thanks to our news director, editors, reporters, contributors for making this edition of Prime News Run a success. Vehzelee Sumo brought to you our local and international development. Samson Wuse, Sala controls and coordinator of the sound. Ruffer Devan Brooks, streamer live on Prime FM Monrovia 105.5. I've been Arthur B, represented. Been a wonderful Wednesday morning from the nation's capital on Benson Street here in Monrovia.